So today, I quit my six-figure job to sell Pokemon cards. It's crazy to even say. Well, it's kind of, but not really. So to start from the beginning, um, I've been I collected Pokemon cards as a kid, of course, just like everybody else, and then moved into Yu-Gi-Oh. Play the games. And then eventually you grow up. You fall more in love with other things. You fall in love with sports. You fall in love with girls. You fall in love with whatever other hobbies as you get older. I was reintroduced to Pokemon probably a little after, right after COVID. Some of my friends started collecting again, and I dabbled here and there. I was living in Dallas at the time. I moved back to Georgia and got into it heavy when I was back around my friend groups. So that was around the time where Silver Tempest, was it Silver Tempest? Or was it Crown Zenith? Yeah, it was late Sword and Shield, early Scarlet Violet is when I first got back into it heavy. Bought a ton of cards, ripped a ton of packs, spent $1,000. Me and my fiance, $1,000 a month on Pokemon, just ripping. Growing that collection, going to conventions, just buying cards, just really falling in love with the hobby again. Have a nice little outlet, something for me and her to kind of bond over. So fast forward to how that turned into a business. So me and my best friend, we decided, hey, we have so many Pokemon cards, and we're watching like vendor POVs, just like everybody else. It's like, wow, these guys are like printing money. Is what it seems like. So we decided we're gonna put up our personal collections and we're gonna vend a show. That was not this past December, but December before last. So that's December 2024. December 2024, right? So we ran our first show. It was at the Flip Card Show in Columbus, and it was great. It wasn't spectacular, but it was very good. It was very good. We sold a lot of cards, and we didn't have any like super high end stuff. We had maybe like a little bit here and there. Like I think the most expensive card we had was like maybe like $300, $400. Most of it was just like mid range illustration rares and binder cards mostly. A little bit of vintage stuff. We did a lot of buying there too, and we had a good experience with that. And we probably only profited combined together because remember we're doing it all as one pot. Was our intention, like, hey, me and you gonna come together. We're gonna put up however many cards, and me and you just gonna go work together to grow this. So we made maybe $700, in profit. So $350 each, and we took that money, we reinvested into our business. The hurdle was he lived in North Carolina. I was in Georgia. He works full time. He has a family. I don't have a family, but I also work full time, including a lot of weekends. So it made organizing, trying to figure out when to do shows very difficult. So we decided, okay, let's pivot to online. We're gonna hop on Whatnot. So we start off on Whatnot, selling singles. At this time, I'm also collecting a lot of Union Arena, and that is my card game. So I collect Union Arena, I play Union Arena, I trade Union Arena. I love UA. That is my card game. So we've become really big, pretty much on the UA space, selling singles on Whatnot, doing Rip to Your Head. And remember, this is 2024, early 2025, before all the TCGs boomed. So Pokemon was already on the rise again, but all these other TCGs, One Piece, Union Arena, Hololive, any other type of TCG, they hadn't just instantly caught like how these TCGs are doing now. So we were able to really carve our own lane there, selling a lot of Union Arena singles. Like I got a ton here still. I'm still really into Union Arena. A lot of the cards I carry are UA. See these? Some Grails. But yeah, love UA down. Love UA down. So we're selling singles on there, and we tried a million things on Whatnot to try and make money. I know you guys seen the wheel. So wait, so let me back up. So we, on top of the inventory we already had, what we've been flipping, we combined $700 each. So let's say we had about $3,400 worth of working capital between inventory and cash. So at that point, we're selling singles. We're doing ripping ships with Union Arena. Attack on Titan, Japanese boxes, Windbreaker, Um, um, Sword Art Online. What else come out? So Full Metal Alchemist. All of that. Just having pretty much just having a great time. The boxes were so cheap back then. Like a lot of boxes were like $30, $40. Like some of your LGSs would give those boxes away, give them away if they could. But yeah, we really enjoyed that. We tried doing the wheel a couple times, and it just never really hit for us as far as like the cost basis, um, and just overall feeling of it. Like it's a little bit too predatory and gambling, like the mystery packs, the wheel. No one. That's really a system where there has to be a loser. Um, you can't win unless somebody loses. And when you're just selling singles, both parties can win. Like I can give you the card at a decent deal or a price you're comfortable with, because obviously you bought it at that price, or so I win and you win. Like no one loses in that situation. But a wheel is like, okay, you put $20 on this wheel and you're getting a Indonesian Pokemon EX card. Like you lost, and it's hard to build up a real functional and sustainable business that way, right? So let's pivot around. So boom, we transitioned from doing, well, not transition. We're still doing the Unit Arena. We want to bring more Pokemon into it. We're buying bulk AR lots, so bulk art rare lots from Japan. So it'd be like 100, 200, 300 IRs. After shipping and these tariffs that we have to pay now, that factors out to about maybe $1.50 or $1.70 a card at the time. I think it was maybe $1.50 a card at the time after shipping and everything. So we were selling those on Whatnot as singles, start $1 starts, boom. That was going great. We made a lot of money doing that. We grew that. We probably grew our volume to about maybe $4,000 or $5,000 after 6 months, 3 to 4 months maybe of doing that. Like I said, we're both working full time. It's not something we can do every single day, so it's just more working on it when you can and when you can squeeze in the time. For a couple months, I decide, hey, you're in North Carolina, I'm in Georgia. It's hard for both of us to organize getting it done. I'm going to take on the load of doing shows. We're going to axe Whatnot. So no more Whatnot. We're going to do strictly TCG Player and shows. So how it works is like we were buying bulk from like online Facebook marketplace, or just even deals where someone had like a few cards we wanted, be like, hey, we can make this deal right. Maybe you can toss in some bulk. So we're buying Unit Arena bulk, One Piece bulk, Pokemon bulk, Magic the Gathering bulk, and he was selling that on TCG Player, and I was doing shows. We do our first couple shows at Charlie's at CCS, at Stone Mountain. I did maybe 2 shows there, and I did a couple shows. The Gainesville Super Show. And it went great. Like our inventory started to balloon. We're getting moving on to much nicer cards. Like we had a PSA 9 Togetic from Neo. We have like Giratina, Holdars. Like we're moving into like higher end chases for sure. Our inventory was shrinking from having, like 200 art rares or mid-range, OHX range, just shrinking down to like 40 to 50 cards, more higher end, more things are like $50 and up. And we experimented with that for a little while. And the time frame from this is from the top of 2025 to the end of 2026. So the time commitment for him was way too much. Because if you ever handled bulk and had to, at the time we're alpha sorting, chaos sorting system wasn't a thing that was well known. We're alpha sorting everything, uploading everything by hand. So it became kind of a time constraint for him. Like it's hard. It's very hard and tedious to do to get that inventory up, because TG Player is one of the things that you need to have 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 cards in inventory to really start getting some type of like steady flow of orders. So we decided we were just gonna sell everything we had and kind of like split up whatever remaining inventory and cash we had and kind of just go our separate ways, where he could do his shows in North Carolina and I could do my own shows here in Georgia. So part of that was I got the bulk. So he gave me back all the bulk because he had pretty much no use for it because he can't upload it. So I got the bulk, and then we split about $12,000 in well, a little more than that, probably like $13,000 in inventory and cash. So it's not too bad to think about. Like in a year where it was really, really, really a side hustle, where like we might get to vend, we may have vended like four shows for the year maybe, and then everything else was selling online. After fees and margins and everything, we went from $3,000 to like $14,000. That's definitely a win. It's not a ton, but like it's $14,000 you didn't have before. So that's still great. So I would say November. Yeah. So we split right before November. So that might have been like October. So November was my first time doing a show on my own. I did Front Row Card Show. That went great. Got to buy a lot more inventory. But vending shows is not what convinced me to quit my six-figure job. I did not become a millionaire vending or buying cars people at 60% and selling them at 120%, like the internet likes to claim that vendors do. What really made me comfortable with quitting my six-figure job is here. I'll show you guys. Is this right here? Bulk. And I'll put up some numbers probably on the next screen. But this year, from January, I've done about maybe between $30,000 to $40,000 on TCG Player, and that's purely off bulk. These are cards that you're paying 1 to 2 to maybe 3 cents per, and so it's essentially all profit. Essentially, it's all profit, and bulk has became my bread and butter. I'm on TCG Player. I'm on TCG Player Direct as of recently. So maybe the past 2 months, I could do a video about how that's been and the process to get on and what that experience has been like, or if it's right for you. But yeah, I've been on Direct for about 2 months. Yeah, I've seen it grow a lot. So if I made $40,000 in only 7 months, I feel like, and you have to think I'm doing this while having a full-time job. Like, and it's super full-time. Like, I'm working 50 hours a week, including some weekends type of job, a lot of weekends type of job. And not necessarily quitting. I did quit that job, but what I really did is I did something a little more reasonable. Instead of going cold turkey on a job, I took a step back. So I took a role with another company where I'm doing something kind of similar, but it's less responsibility and it's also remote. So I'm working from home. No need to waste an hour commuting there, an hour commuting back. So I have a little more time in my day. And it's no weekends. So I've dialed back my schedule. It pays a little less, probably about $35,000 less. But I feel more confident that I can make that up just with having the time back. Just the weekends to spend, and then the time I'm not wasting on my commute. I would have more time to buy bulk, organize bulk, list it. And yeah, so that's where we are now. I want to start the channel just to kind of document how the process has been going. Since now we're kind of like diving fully in. We're 100% in on the TCG business. I'm selling Pokemon, Union Arena, a ton of Union Arena. So if you ever need Union Arena, jaysdeck.tcgplayerpro.com. Magic the Gathering. So Union Arena, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and just bulk. Like, you don't need a ton of flashy cards. It's great to have some of the nicer flashy cards. Like, let's see, like nice bench cards like the Coral Kyogre or a Prime Absol, and like a Tag Team Pikachu. Like, those are great cards to have. And then you're trying to build out a margin of like 20%. So you're buying at 80 on these higher end cards. You're hopefully making 20, but after fees, it take about 13% on TCG Player, 14% really. you're trying to make 6%. You're trying to make 6% margin. So it's unrealistic to sell these bigger cards, even cards like $20 and up. It only makes sense to be buying cards like that if you can buy it closer to like 70%, 65%. That's why the time between fees, packing, and I be like, you sell a $50 card that you only have 80%. So what is that? You have like $10 worth of room in it, and then you have to pay 14% in fees, and you have to pay $5 to ship it. You're probably making like $2-3 off that card versus some bulk like this Monarch's Domain, right? I paid $0.01 for this card, but I'm gonna sell it on TCG Player for 30 cents. 30 cents plus shipping. My shipping probably cost me about, depending on the order, but on average it's about 74 cents. And shipping charge is $1.49. So I'm remaking about 70 cents per card if they're shipped individually. It's all profit. It's all profit. It's smaller, but it adds up over time with the volume. You're doing 100 orders like that a week, it adds up like massively. And yeah, so that's where we are now. I'll keep you guys in the loop about where I'm going. I got a ton of bulk in right now that I need to sort. I don't know if you guys can see it back here. Here, let me bring it over here. So we got all this is Pokemon, some Union Arena. We got some more Pokemon here. We got Magic and all these boxes down here. Thankfully, I am in a position now where I can actually order a sorting machine. I have about 23,000 cards listed on TCG Player. Sorting by hand does suck. So I did place an order for a Magic sorter. We're waiting for that to come in. It costs about $3,700 after shipping to US. Thankfully, I was able to grade I'll put it in the video. But I graded a Koro Groudon that I got with the Kyogre. I graded the Groudon, ended up getting PSA 10. So it's at ZNG right now. So hopefully we see what that does. And then, the sales price of that should cover the sorting machine. So it's definitely a blessing. So I'll update you guys again once either that sells an auction or the sorting machine comes. I'll do a review on that. I can even do a review as far as like my TCG Player Direct sales, my TCG Player sales. Just show you guys what it looks like. Because I'm not the biggest seller in the world. I would say I'm very middle of the road. Like there's 4 tiers, but no, there's like 5 tiers. I'm probably like a tier 2, tier 3 type of seller. So this is very achievable for anybody to do. But yeah, if you follow me, I'll drop some more knowledge. So feel free to subscribe. And then if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try my best to answer all of them. Thanks.